Welcome to the XMPro Product Roadmap webinar for 2023. I'm Daniel King, Development Manager at XMPro. I'm based in Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia, and I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to attend today. I have a lot to cover off today, so if you have any questions, please send them through and I'll try to answer them at the end. 2023 has been an amazing year so far, and I can't believe it's halfway over already. I won't be recapping recently delivered items in this session, but I'd like to encourage you to go to our website and check out our latest release notes. There are 3 key achievements I would like to call out though. 83 of our agents and connectors have been contributed to so far this year, which is massive. We partnered with Dell Technologies to create a validated design for the manufacturing edge and work with NVIDIA to validate XMPro as GPU enabled or accelerated and enterprise ready. I'd like to take a second here to thank the XMPro team for their contributions in making all this happen. I know a few of them are watching today, so thank you. The Intelligent Digital Twins Framework is a strategy for our product. Peter van Schalkwyk is CEO of XMPro and co-chair for the Natural Resources Working Group at the Digital Twin Consortium. Peter goes into much more detail on our strategy, and if you haven't already watched this previous webinar, I'd highly recommend you do so. You can find it on our XMPro channel in YouTube. The I3C framework is a longer term view of where we're heading, and the product roadmap represents the items we're working on now and next to get us there. I won't be able to cover everything on a roadmap in 30 minutes, but I'll try my best to cover as much as I can today. The 4 pillars of the XMPro product are how we execute on the I3C framework. Together, they support each of our 3 themes: faster time to value, distributed intelligence, and secure across deployments. The triangle layout demonstrates how each of these pillars support each other, and the pillars have varying impacts on people, process, and technology based on their proximity to these little labels here. The roadmap items will be grouped by pillar, and I'll be talking through each roadmap item for each of these pillars. Distributed intelligence is achieved through AI and engineering, where people and technology meet to innovate, execute, and augment with AI. I think that's pretty cool. We're going to start today with AI and engineering pillar. 47% of all IoT applications will be AI infused in 2027. That's a 30% increase in under 4 years. That's amazing. We want to enable our customers to be part of that 47%. And we're doing this with a number of AI roadmap items. So we're going to focus on innovation with AI first. AI is fast growing and disrupting markets around us, and it offers new tools to do things differently. But these tools are rapidly changing. This is why we think innovation with AI is critical. XMPro Notebooks is a new product we'll be releasing as part of our AI offering. It supports Jupyter Notebooks, allowing you to use a well-established product without having to retrain people or refactor existing notebooks. XMPro Notebooks can be used in data science, scientific computing, and machine learning. And data scientists, analysts, and engineers will be able to access data to innovate within the XMPro suite. Each user will have their own dedicated notebook, actively using the product. This makes it very scalable and cost-effective as you experiment. One of the biggest challenges for data scientists is the access to good data to innovate with. We're adding integration to our data stream data, so XMPro Notebooks can access the rich and near real-time data in transit. This scenario isn't just limited to real-time data though. In data streams, you can also run simulations on your data streams and access that same data from XMPro Notebooks the same way. This approach also allows users to focus on innovation without first having to develop software and integrations up front. It also allows for continuous innovation and experimentation over time. We currently support the ability to run simulations on streams, visualize the results in apps. Front-running simulations is the ability to run a simulated event just before the real event to predict what that result would be. In this example, we're simulating an event right before the real event to see what the outcome would be, and in this case, it would have been a bad outcome. This allows you to build functionality into a stream to modify the path an event takes, ultimately ensuring that you get a good outcome. So let's talk about when these things are coming. So the now title here represents an item that's actively in development or scheduled for release soon. And the next title represents work where developers not yet commenced or is blocked by another item. We practice hypothesis-driven development at XMPro. So this means that items can shift or change in scope based on what we learn. Development for the XMPro notebooks has completed, and the team are working on productizing it for our supported platforms and cloud providers. It'll be the first available on our free trial offering, which is probably only days away at this stage or really close. And it'll become available incrementally on our installers for different clouds and platforms. Next, we'll be releasing support to consume stream data in those notebooks. And we're in the early stages of planning for this. Front-running simulations is also in the early stages of planning. Once you've innovated and produced new AI solutions, you need a way to execute them. Running AI in our streams is one way to do this, and up until recently, you've been limited to running these on the CPU. The GPU is well suited for running certain workloads that involve a lot of concurrent processing. Moving processing to the GPU can vastly improve how much processing you can do in the same time frame compared to the CPU. Mathematical algorithms, machine vision, neural networks, and deep learning are examples of workloads that involve a lot of concurrent processing. In this example, we're using machine vision to process apples and oranges differently in our data stream. Images of our fruit are ingested by a data stream, and an agent compares the images pixel by pixel to determine if it's an apple or an orange. By using the GPU to run pixel comparison algorithms, we can process a lot more images. This stream can still be run on the edge, fog, or cloud, and it can also dynamically detect if there's a compatible NVIDIA GPU and use it, falling back to the CPU when the GPU isn't available. There are a handful of scripting languages that are fast becoming standard for executing AI workloads. By supporting these scripting languages, we support customers in running their existing solutions in our streams. This reduces the need to refactor or retrain staff, and you can adopt new functionality faster as there's a large open source community currently innovating using these scripting languages. We're extending our current agents to support more of these scripting languages. We're also adding support for more governments around these scripts. In this example, you can see we can run a script directly in an agent or reference the latest published version of a script from the common storage layer. For now, I think of the common storage layer as kind of like GitHub, and I'll talk about this later. These scripts can be edited from the XMPro notebooks, allowing users to operate completely in our suite of products. Data streams are executed for by our stream hosts, and these stream hosts can be run on the edge, fog, and cloud, allowing you to distribute your processing for these scripts, providing like a very flexible and composable architecture. Now, we've recognized you may have your own machine learning operations, or MLOps. They're focused on streamlining the process of taking machine learning models to product and then maintaining and monitoring them. MLOps space, it's growing very quickly, and there's a vast variety of different third-party solutions. Our approach here is to create agents to integrate to these third-party solutions. MLflow is our open source platform for managing the end-to-end machine learning lifecycle, and is fast becoming the most popular in the space. We have created an MLflow agent that can get the latest published version of a model and invoke it with data from our data stream and then return those results back. This prevents the need for a data scientist to actually go into a data stream and update that stream each time a new version of the model is created. It also allows heavy processing of ML models to be run on the customer systems optimized already for these workloads. It also allows access to be restricted to the data stream, supporting the principle of least privilege. MLOps can be orchestrated from XMPro notebooks, allowing you to run experiments, create models, publish those models, and then invoke them directly from the notebook, then using the results. Now, GPU acceleration support is currently available. You can design agents to leverage NVIDIA GPUs using agent documentation, and we'll be extending this documentation to provide more examples and support. We're also working on adding GPU acceleration support to some of our existing agents. We currently have a Python script, and we're close to releasing an R script agent. We'll be adding more governance controls and integration to these scripts using the common storage layer after it's released, and I'll talk more about that common storage layer later. We've recently developed the MLflow agent for integrating to custom LMOps, and we're updating our public docs right now before we actually release it. Now that you're innovating and executing with AI, there's a great opportunity to augment what we have now with these results. We currently have recommendations capability, and for those that aren't familiar, at a very high level, you can create recommendations with rules that, when are met, generate alerts. We've found that existing recommendations can be augmented with AI. Anomalies can be dynamically detected and visualized within inside the recommendations. New recommendations can be automatically generated or discovered. And rules within those recommendations can be created or augmented. And alerts themselves can be augmented with Copilot-like functionality and assisting engineers in resolving these alerts. ChatGPT and Open API services are continuing to provide new and easier, innovative ways of doing things. XMPro notebooks will be released with a sample notebook demonstrating integration to ChatGPT. In this sample notebook, it includes an end-to-end beer quality example, which incorporates ChatGPT, and who doesn't like quality beer? Data Stream Designer integrations will allow you to augment your event data with ChatGPT, and App Designer integrations will allow you to make custom calls from your apps, enabling Copilot-like functionality. The security of our data, the security of your data and how we implement this is really important to us. The use of third-party services like ChatGPT takes a lot of consideration, and we'll be factoring this into how we solve these problems and deliver these new product roadmap items. Visualization of AI outputs is a really powerful and effective way of communicating the insights you're making. XMPro notebooks will allow you to generate visualizations that you can share in apps. In this example, we're using ChatGPT to generate a linear regression visualization for us. It's using the data from our data streams, and ChatGPT is saving us a lot of time because we're not having to find the suitable libraries and write the code to do this ourselves. XMPro notebooks will be released with ChatGPT integration support and samples on how to get going quickly. You can currently integrate to ChatGPT via our Python scripts and run these in agents right now. And these Python scripts can be designed and managed in XMPro notebooks. We will have importable end-to-end solutions as a starting point to get you going faster for common use cases. And additionally, planning for App Designer and Data Stream Designer integration. This is currently underway, and it will provide more additional no-code approaches. AI-generated or discovered recommendations is in the early stages of planning. There are some core technical pieces that are needed before we can start this work, and the development team are busy working on these right now. Generating analytics and visualizations is currently available through a mix of approaches. We're currently planning on how to extend these approaches to closer integrate XMPro notebooks, allowing for a more seamless experience from innovation through to augmentation and the visualization. All these new AI roadmap items need distributed computing and network infrastructure management to support an edge ecosystem. This is the cloud to edge continuum. We currently support deployments to a wide variety of cloud providers and on-prem platforms using cloud and platform native services. This creates additional overhead for us and our customers as we add more features, demanding more capabilities in this area. These environments can be configured in many different ways and also changed, and sometimes without our control. And this makes it difficult for us to deploy and support our products simply and seamlessly. There are new, more modern approaches that have quickly become industry standard for the type of architecture that underpins our suite of products. These more modern approaches require us to change our deployments to embrace them. We'll be creating a cloud-agnostic deployment for our suite of products that will become the default deployment method. The aim is to provide a product that is more portable, allowing for better business continuity planning, more reliable with self-healing properties, and more performant, allowing for better performance for less cost. Now, we currently support distributed deployment, and in this example, we have products used most by our users in the cloud in regions closest to those users, making the products feel fast and snappy. In the fog, we have our AI capabilities closest to where most of our data is, reducing the time to transmit large volumes of data over the wire. And on the edge, we have our stream hosts. These are our engines that run our data streams, and by putting them on the edge, we put them closest to where the devices and edge systems are. The challenge with this approach is managing all these edge deployments. Without some form of centralized monitoring, alerting, and management, it can become difficult and time-consuming for IT to manage these systems. This is why we're building support for third-party systems that provide centralized monitoring, alerting, and management capabilities. We're adopting industry standards and best practices to allow us to easily add additional providers over time. And this also provides customers with the flexibility to use their existing providers if they have them. The solution would be composable with the ability to select different providers from different functions instead of having to commit to one system to do it all. We're bringing DevSecOps capabilities to our suite of products. We're not building these capabilities into our products, but again, leveraging existing industry standards and best practices to allow you to use your own providers. In this example, we have a pre-prod environment that we want to design our streams and apps before we publish them to production. These new versions of apps and streams are automatically exported to the common storage layer, and from there, UI test automation can be run, leveraging our XMPro test automation library. Secure testing can be performed on any changes to, say, integrations to mitigate any potential vulnerabilities. And when all these pre-checks pass, the change is then approved, and these versions can be published to our product or your prod environment or the customer's prod environment. We can take a similar approach to upgrades to XMPro. New versions can be automatically and programmatically installed in pre-prod, manual regression, or just automated UI testing performed, and then deployed to production. We've just released automated database installs and upgrades, which allows for a fully automated deployment. Our current deployment options require the customer, though, to set up automation in their third-party systems. Best practices have evolved since some parts of the process were first developed, and we need to redesign these. And we'll be providing improved deployment automation incrementally, product by product. We've completed several proof of concepts around cloud agnostic deployment. We've commenced development and are taking a product by product approach, and we'll continue to support cloud native for some time, shifting to cloud agnostic deployments as default when they're done. We're looking to cater for customers who want an out-of-the-box experience where they can use all the default deployment configuration that we provide, right through to those that want to consume the individual product artifacts and build them into their own custom deployment. We've completed a proof of concept on distributed deployment management based on our cloud agnostic approach, and we're in the planning stage of considering a mix of internal and external third-party tooling to be rolled out incrementally. Faster time to value is achieved through roadmap items that combine people and process to accelerate transformation. We're providing more support for what you have when it comes to visualizations. We use blocks to compose apps and already have a large library of blocks to do this. However, some scenarios, it's quite difficult to create a block. For example, if a customer system uses an incompatible technology or uses an old technology that performs slowly, or it's just custom or an in-house system. Meta blocks will allow us or you to create custom blocks to overcome these challenges. It'll allow you to run visualizations side by side that traditionally just wouldn't be possible. With this capability, you will be able to create an industrial metaverse that runs on the same backbone of event data without first needing to re-platform your existing systems to like a common technology. This gives you the flexibility to delay deciding when that common technology needs to be and what it needs to be until that industrial metaverse technologies and processes stabilize and you can make a better decision about that. I've mentioned the common storage layer a number of times already in this presentation, and that's because it will unite artifacts across XMPro. Think of it as kind of like GitHub, except we'll be implementing it in a way that allows you to choose the provider, so it doesn't have to be GitHub. It'll also be comprised of several different technologies, allowing for the best technology for the job and using best practices to do it. The common storage layer will allow you to collaborate faster and safer, providing well-known interfaces and governance controls to do this. Anything you can currently export or import can be managed here, and all the new artifacts discussed today will be stored here. The provider you choose for the common storage layer will also support integration, most likely, and allowing you to automate and tie in artifacts from XMPro into your current existing systems. We're introducing some new artifacts to the common storage layer to get you started quicker and keep you innovating. Blueprints are pre-built solutions providing end-to-end working examples. Accelerators can be imported into your environment as a starting point from which you then can extend from. And patterns are pre-configured data streams that serve as building blocks that you can compose and extend out. You'll also be able to create your own versions and collaborate internally and externally. So we currently have a library of predefined solutions in our XMPro GitHub project, which you can now check out. We'll also continue to add to these over time. And next, we're looking at adding a library UI into our XMPro products to access and integrate them a little bit more easier. We've completed a proof of concept on meta blocks and are planning on starting development soon. And we've selected several new and existing blocks to be candidates for that first release. We're currently using several providers from our common storage layer internally for collaboration, and we'll be exposing these publicly. We begin planning on how we'll integrate these into our products and the UI shortly. Where process and technology meet, we need strong governance to be secure across deployments, and we do this with zero trust architecture. Zero trust architecture is not new for us at XMPro and something we take really seriously. We aim to give you more control over what users can access with finer-grained access control. The product rights will align closer to API endpoint functionality and not UI components. We'll still have product roles to manage any additional complexity this might introduce. And in this diagram, you can see a user accessing data via connector or recommendations functionality. Previously, these would have been, these 5 rights here would have been 3 different rights. This change allows for greater control over what users can access. And by aligning these rights to API endpoints, it makes it simpler to apply the principle of least privilege at scale. We currently run several security scans every 3 months and publish these results to our website. In addition to this, we'll be running incremental scans on every code change for each product to pick up potential vulnerabilities earlier. This change will ensure that any new vulnerabilities are identified and addressed as soon as possible. So XMPro currently supports integration to Azure AD identity provider, providing an easy way to leverage existing user logins and security policies and features like SSO and MFA. We're extending this functionality to include support for more scenarios like a federated tenancy model. This integration has been done using industry standards, making it easier for us to add new providers when it's necessary. As we implement the edge to cloud continuum, monitoring and managing product performance is critical. We need it. We're implementing support for application performance management tooling. And we're doing this using industry standards, so adding new providers will be easier. Using this integration, you'll be able to monitor performance of our products, be alerted when there's issues, and if needed, do basic troubleshooting yourself. So we're applying finer-grained access controls incrementally to each of our products, with the first product in development now. We have continuous security scanning set up on most of our products. We're in the process of updating the remaining right now. And we currently have support for Azure AD, and like I mentioned before, we're just extending this to support more scenarios like a federated tenancy model. And we're currently adding support for Azure App Insights as a APM provider. So we'll be running webinars on the items shown today as they become available and diving into a lot more deeper detail. If you have any questions, please send them through and I'll try to answer them now. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. So we've got 2 questions here already. The first one is, where can we find more information on XMPro AI?
Okay, great question. Thanks, Sarah. So that segues really nicely. Next month, Gavin Green will be doing a webinar on AI, and he'll go into a lot more detail. I'd encourage you to sign up for that and attend. We're very close to releasing XMPro notebooks in our free trial soon. I think it's a couple of days away at this stage. Just keep an eye out for that. Sign up, have a play around with our free trial and the different AI capabilities that are in there. And I also believe we're publishing a web page specifically around AI on our website and the features that you can leverage there. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Awesome. There's another question here. It says, with Edge to Cloud Continuum, are you providing any support around containerized architecture?
Good question. Yes, we're really excited about this one. So actually, we currently have Docker images for our stream hosts. These are the engines that run our data streams. We're adding Docker images for our other products, and we'll be creating a container registry that will be publishing these too. We'll likely do webinars on this as this becomes available. So yes.
Awesome. And then one very important question asking, will we receive a copy of the webinar from today?
Yes.
Yep.
This is probably where I do the like and subscribe us on YouTube. Yes, we'll be putting this on YouTube on our XMPro channel. All of our webinars are on there, including Peter van Skolkwijk's previous one I mentioned. Please jump on there and look at it. Sarah, do you know how long it'll take for it to get up there?
Hopefully we'll get it up today, sometime later on today.
Okay. Thanks.
That's it for the questions.
Oh, I hand over to you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay. So we just want to change slides, Dan. Cool. Thanks, everyone. So thanks very much, Dan, for taking us through, and thanks everyone for joining us. If you're looking for more information, you can contact Dan directly or the team via these email addresses. As Dan mentioned, we're running these webinars monthly, and our next session will be on XMPro AI, presented by Gavin Green. So you can register by scanning the QR code. There's a link in the chat box, and I'll also be sending the link shortly when we send the recording out sometime later on today. And we look forward to seeing you all next month. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.